Welcome to episode number 5 of the Eavesdrop podcast. What do you think of the name Eavesdrop?
It's a good name, man. That's after the Call of Duty perk, right?
Yeah, like listening in, like what are the enemies saying? What's going on?
That was the one you could see, like hear them through walls and all that, right?
Yeah, I think that's the first time that they introduced a sort of playback of what kids were saying when you kill them. And Predator, who we'll talk about for a little bit, Predator sort of had this like dope ass idea where he would just make a video of reactions of other people like saying that, and you hear like hacker.
It's a good idea.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, and I don't think it ever came to fruition, but it was very, very cool. Anyway,
was that the first proximity chat? Like,
yeah,
that was it, huh?
It was Eavesdrop, yeah, for sure. Anyway, for those who aren't watching on YouTube and don't know who this young 6'9" Canadian man is, how tall are you?
6'5". No.
6'5".
I wish I was 6'9".
How do you wish to be anything besides 6'5"? If I had it my way, I would be 6'3", and I would thank the lucky stars for it.
You're right. No, it's a blessing and a curse, dude. Planes, they suck. Can't get supercars. Well, you can, but then you have to be The Rock and just like customize it from scratch.
Yeah, but we're not The Rock, are we?
We can't do that.
No,
Sorry, Dwayne.
Yeah,
not today.
Good for you, Dwayne.
Yeah.
I wonder if he starts
Dwayne.
Dwayne, hey, we're on a first name basis. Anyway, who are you today?
Who I am? Oh man, I'm FaZe Pamaj today.
Today you are FaZe
Austin or FaZe Pamaj today. That's weird to say out loud.
It is, isn't it? When was the last time you were FaZe Pamaj?
That's like back in 2013, man. Was it 2013? 2012, I think.
2012, because there was a time where you went independent and you weren't a part of a team.
Yeah.
And
we gotta talk about that.
Oh yeah, no, of course. Anyway, so who are you? Tell us a little about for those people, because this podcast transcends Call of Duty, transcends esports. Like this isn't just gonna be esports. It's gonna be everybody that I want to have a cool conversation with about absolutely just anything. So if somebody's here that's just a YouTuber, somebody's here who's just in Counter-Strike esports or League of Legends esports, like who are you today, brother?
I'm a YouTuber, bro. I like to just kind of play video games and I just shred. I just destroy any person I see with. I use one weapon class for 7 years on a video game, and people really like it. But
what weapon is that?
That's the sniper rifle.
Yeah,
the pride and joy of optic. The thing that brought it all together.
I mean, there's an optic on the scope.
Yeah, I've been doing this since I was 14 years old.
How old are you today?
22 years. Young, old.
No, it's young.
That's pretty good.
I remember when I was 22 years old and I was working at a bank and I was partying, fishing, and playing basketball every day. Maybe not fishing every day, maybe not partying every day, but basketball like every single day. But you're 22 today. You started when did you start making YouTube videos?
These videos started coming out when I was like 14. And even before like I had a capture device or anything like that. You remember Cables?
Yeah,
remember M48 Cables, that guy? He had like this editing pack and he put all of his like S&D clips on YouTube. This is before I had a computer and all that. And I bought a computer and I didn't have like a Dazzle or anything like that. I had no capture device. I was like, man, I really just want to edit these videos. I started watching Predator and I saw what this guy was doing. He was putting his favorite songs. And I think one of the biggest deals for like that made me want to do this was because a certain song Predator used, because he used like a band called 1,000 Foot Crutch. And at the time I wasn't allowed to like listen to like hip hop or anything like that. It was,
what do you mean?
I wasn't allowed to listen to hip hop. It was,
oh, your mom wouldn't allow you.
Yeah. And I wasn't like really introduced to that.
Yeah.
I wasn't like really introduced to like that genre until like really late in my life, honestly. I remember to this day, 50 Cent's debut album entered my house. My cousin gave it to me and I was like, it's right here in front of me. And somehow my mom found it and she threw it in the trash.
No.
And I feel like I was kind of deprived of
good songs.
Of good songs. That was 50 Cent's debut album.
And at the time that the internet had exist?
Nothing. No.
How old were you?
Oh, I was young, man.
Okay, so when you were 14, what year was that? Because it was 1994 for me. Okay, 1994, I was 14 years old, and I was listening to Dr. Dre, The Chronic.
This was like at the beginning of high school. This is like after grade 8, so I'd say, I can't even remember the time,
1990 something?
Not 1990 something, like 2008 or something like that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
damn.
man. Am I making you feel old?
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel old every single day, and most recently, I felt really, really old when I spent an entire week in Vegas with Nate Shot, and I really felt old because I wanted to go to bed at my usual like 9 o'clock, and my body just gets me up at 6:30 or 7 a.m. every single day.
That's nice though.
It is. It's productive, if anything else, because it's quietly. I'll sit in my bed, and Jude's laying there, and I'm just like working, answering emails, doing my work, doing while watching TV. Have my ear pods on, everything's like fire. Like that's almost my. It's been my routine for the last, I don't know, like 6 or 7 months. But when I went to Vegas, not only was I living in a 2-hour differential of when I go to bed, so by the time I was 9 there, I should have already been asleep for 2 hours, And this dude, Nate, obviously is a happy-go-lucky dude and just wants to go have fun. So the first night we stayed up, I think I had 3 hours of sleep in 36 hours. So I woke up at like 5:30 that day, traveled to Vegas, slept for 3 hours after Nate and I got drunk until like 3 a.m., went to bed at 3 a.m., woke up at 6:30, and I'm like, this is not going to be good. So by the time I was just inducted to the Esports Hall of Fame. I don't know if you knew that, the trophy's right there. Me and Kevin Lynn's one of the founders of Twitch. Anyway, so by the time I accepted the award, I was already like, I felt my body just like I couldn't swallow. I had no energy. And I accepted it, grabbed it, and Nate's like, all right, let's go. You gotta get to bed, man. Let's go eat something and then go to bed. So finally got some hours rest, but then Nate, sure enough, like, bro, it was like an ongoing 3 hours of sleep every single night leading up until Saturday. Then I got home and everything's all good.
That's a dangerous group you went to Vegas with, by the way.
Yeah.
You, Nate, Scump, and Courage.
Bro, Scump?
Dude, you guys like feed off of each other's competitive ego. Like that's in like the best way ever. You know, like you guys just egg each other on. And I've gone gambling with you. I've done that. We've drank together, and it's just how are you not drinking? How are you not gambling? Well, let's go gamble more. You know what I mean? It's
what I liked about that whole thing is that at no point were we apart from each other unless we were sleeping. Every time, like it was a true like friends. Let's get together and fucking go do something fun. But it was all good. Anyway, let's talk about like how you came to be. Let's talk about like I want to touch base like on every single year like a little bit, and then we'll get into the whole your new life that you've been living for the last like 9 months. What led to all of this?
You want to know what started my gaming addiction?
Yeah,
it's
my videos.
Your videos?
You saw my 1v1s wrecking people.
I saw your cool montage there on YouTube. That was pretty rad. I think my favorite part of your like a little MW2 sniper video was like the pulse, like the
yeah.
That was like my favorite part. I don't know why.
Who edited? JDX edited that, I think.
I don't know, man.
Look, I put that up for you. 1235 McAlpin Drive.
Yeah, don't forget.
Forever.
You didn't put that there. Let the record show you had Russell Drive up there for us before.
I did.
I got kind of offended.
I think I'm gonna get another one because, the Scuff House to me was one of the best years of my life, and I'm not afraid to say it. Like 6050 was incredible. Best like that whole period of team houses that Optic had was like one of the best times of my life because like I think that. What's cool about that is that nobody that didn't live there will ever understand what it was like.
No.
Maybe Syndicate because he was there for like a week. And
dude, Syndicate would just pop up out of nowhere.
Literally nowhere.
Out of nowhere. It was fantastic. And Tom, he just brings such a crazy energy to the group.
Yeah,
and he's always
vibe.
Down to go out and do something. We'd always go downtown like the underground. And dude, I miss that, man. I miss the underground. I miss Portillo's. I miss that. I miss all of that.
So Portillo's, for those who don't know, an underground's a club that we frequented. It's in Chicago, downtown Chicago, across the street from Hard Rock Cafe or something like that.
Something like that.
It used to be the old Excalibur, if I remember correctly. When I was young, I used to go down there. And Portillo's is the best hot dog place ever. I've actually had several thoughts of bringing Portillo's to Dallas. Do you think it'll murder it out here?
It would destroy.
Those chili cheese fries, those chili cheese dogs.
I just get the hot dogs, man. They just pop.
They the snap.
They just pop in your mouth.
People
it's like the
don't know about
thing.
the snap.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So 1235 McAlpin, man. Love it.
Nothing better than that place. But anyway, where did it all start? It started with a chess tournament. The other day, you asked me like, "You play chess?" I was like, "Yeah, I play chess." And I went. My mom would always send me and my brothers to these chess tournaments, like as kids, and we were just we liked it honestly. Like chess makes you think a certain way. Chess makes you
absolutely.
It makes you overthink everything, and it makes you like plan your moves way ahead, and you're already like planning like your moves. And when you lose something, you're already thinking about what you're gonna take from the other guy.
Of course.
So I went to this chess tournament, and my brothers are better than me, and I was the younger one, obviously, and my brothers were playing all right, and then I had like a really good start, and I won my first 3 games, and after that I was just like on a roll. I was beating like all the best kids like in my league and just in my town and everything like that, and I went undefeated in that chess tournament. I won it all. Won the grand prize of $70. It was great. And, half the time we would just go there just to get, the free donuts, the free pizzas, the free chocolate milk and all that. It was lit, you know. For a little kid, it was an experience,
Yeah, hell yeah.
But, I won the tournament, and I was going against kids like, their parents, they would come in after they lose, and they would track down their moves and all that, and they would reset the chessboard and be like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that?
Yeah.
And I was just that little native kid who just hopped on the board and hopped off and just made them feel bad about themselves. So ended up winning that chess tournament. And this was when
Did you really? Awesome, man.
And this was like when the Xbox 360 dropped. I remember that, man. You remember that?
Of course.
You remember when it dropped? Like when you just saw like the opening sequence of the 360?
Yeah, I do. The orb comes in,
yeah,
and then it
yo.
goes under the screen, and then it pops out.
Clicking the button. How dope the controller looked. Like the silver
master
button,
race.
the silver button on the controller. It was just so crazy.
It was nasty.
With that $70, I didn't really know like what game to buy. So my brother was like, yo, there's this game called Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I'm like, what's that? And he was like, you should get it. I was like, okay. So I got this game, and that was like my first game that I ever bought myself, because the 360 was Zach's. He bought all the games. He was
Zach's your older brother.
Zach's my older brother, and he had all the games, and this was my first game that I had myself. So this is the first game that I could actually say, let me hop on, I can play.
Yeah.
This is the first game that I actually just completely lost my life to.
Yeah.
And like that's what set me off to just sit there and just start playing stupid amounts of video games. And I was really nerding out. You could do the duplication glitch on like Elder Scrolls, Dark Brotherhood. Like I sat there and got to like level 99. Like I would purposely like go to jail, put my stats down just so I can get more stats up, and then just keep grinding it out in jail, because when you're in jail in that game, you lose stats because like you get like food deprived or something like that.
Yeah.
So that allows you to keep going up, not remain maxed out. So I was on that. And then as soon as that happened, Rock Band came out. I was really into that. Guitar Hero, that came in. That was great. And what I didn't realize, this is going to be really interesting to you. When I was in grade 6, I used to bring my Guitar Hero to school. I used to bring my PlayStation to school because I was really into it. And all my friends there, they were playing it as well. And I'd be like, yo, you guys play this game at all?
That was like your first interaction for multiplayer, just not in game.
I guess so. But when I brought the game, I would bring it on the school bus, and I brought it into school, and it was meant for like rainy days, snow days, or anything like that, and like for lunchtime.
What do you mean? Where are you from? You haven't mentioned that.
Oh, where am I from? Parry Sound, Canada. But I grew up on a reservation called Shawaniga First Nation, and it's a small village, honestly. And there's not really any internet out there. I had to bike like 5 miles.
I thought you were Hawaiian, and I wasn't being racist. I just, for some reason, remember you being Hawaiian.
No, I think you're thinking of Willie G.
No,
because
I remember you have the little mole that you have on your eye. Like I remember your face clearly, like what it looked like in your avatar in Xbox, and I'm like,
you really thought I was Hawaiian?
Yeah, I'm like, this looks fucking Hawaiian. He's not Mexican. He looks a little Mexican, but he looks like tropical Mexican.
I think some Hawaiians are indigenous. Absolutely. Yeah. There's indigenous culture down there.
Aren't we all indigenous to certain regions?
To an extent.
Yeah,
I'd say so.
Yeah, I did. I spat into a vial, and it came back that I'm 6% English, 53% Native American.
You're 53% Native American?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Are you being racist?
No.
Because
my man, where you been?
What you mean?
Where you been? I didn't know this.
I'm 53 Native American from Mexico, so like Aztec, Mayan, that not.
Okay, that's cool though. I didn't know that.
Oh, I'm Mexican.
Well, right? I know you're Mexican, but it's like
Mexicans are natives too. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
We're what did somebody call it? You guys like snow Mexicans because you guys are from Canada,
like the snow Eskimos or something like that, man.
Anyway, so go on. You You were saying about the Elder Scrolls and going on before I interrupted you.
So from Schwanniga First Nation, that's all the games I would play there. You know, Elder Scrolls wasn't like an online game. You could just sit there, you could pause it, and you could just play it all the time. And that's really where I just got lost in that sauce. And if you played Morrowind or like Fallout, you know exactly how addicting those games are. You can sit there and you can grind them out just forever, you know?
Yeah.
And I used to be an achievement hunter, quote unquote, too, you know? That was like the big thing nowadays, or back then. Remember playing like Viva Pinata just to get those like, achievements or anything like that?
No, that's the thing. Like, and I remember like bragging about your gamer score, right?
Yeah.
Because it meant a lot. And to be an achievement hunter, like you needed to dedicate a lot of the time. And at the time, you know, as everybody knows, because I talk about it a lot, I only played Call of Duty. I never played any other video game besides Zelda and Resident Evil 1 on PlayStation.
That's it.
Yeah, and then I started playing Call of Duty, and that's, you know, we fast forward and here we are. When did you start playing Call of Duty, and how did you come across it? For me, it was super happenstance. It just came with the game. I took a sniper shot in a map called St. Mary Glees from Broken to Ruins, and it changed my life. The one shot changed my life.
So my cousin Bucky actually had Call of Duty 4.
Yeah, fucking Bucky.
He had Call of Duty 4, and it was his game. And anytime he would come over, it would be I just vividly remember the M16 red dot. And anytime they wouldn't be playing it, I would just want to hop on and just use the M16 red dot because I just liked the
COD
red
4,
dot. Yeah,
right?
Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like get too lost in it because obviously they were the older guys and they kept, you know, kicking me off, you know.
Little did they know that they was about to get shitted on.
Yeah, that's the best part. That was the first time I ever played Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And then after that, everything kind of just moved to Halo because I moved from Schwanniga First Nation to Perry Sound because we just had to get out of the reservation because there's no internet. It's not really like it was better for my mom to be out there because it was closer to work. My brothers, they were going to high school too, so that we could just walk up to the high school. I could just walk to school, and that was kind of a bad thing because I allowed myself to like, you know, set my own schedule. So I knew how fast I would have to run to get to school on time and all that, and I would be late all the time.
Yeah.
So I had to move there, and then that's when I moved to a new school, William Beatty. That's where I met like a bunch of new friends and all that, and it was kind of, I had some people like try and pick on me and all that, man. It was kind of ruthless, and I don't know why. And nowadays, they're the ones serving me my sandwiches in Perry Sound.
Yeah, are they really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I don't treat them the same way.
No, but the thing there though is like, look, kids are always gonna.
Kids are kids. You know, it's just how it goes.
But I don't understand how anybody would have the balls to mess with the biggest kid in school.
I was pretty chubby, man. I mean, if you saw me, you'd probably pick on me too.
No. Even though I was incredibly good looking, I'm just kidding.
I can't relate.
So let's fast forward a bit. You started playing Call of Duty. You fell in love with it. At what point were you like, holy shit, I'm good enough to make videos on the internet?
I didn't. I had a friend. His name is Nick. His name was Bubonic Plague. He was the best out of all of us.
Mm-hmm.
We would just play Rust, Snipe, and Knife all the time. And he was just better than all of us. He would trash us. None of us would ever get any close to winning. You know, we'd do like the last, get a thrower knife, kill cam for the last thing. And then, you know, I just kind of got fed up. And that's when I started going on YouTube. And then I saw Predator.
Yeah.
And then I saw Hutch. And then I saw like Sark and all those guys. And I saw Optic. And I was like, damn, these guys just dominate with a sniper. I saw D-Treats and everything. These guys just dominate. I was like, what are these guys doing? So I literally just sat there and watched these videos. And then I would just watch them and then go into this private match. And then I would slowly chip away at the score. And then one day I won. And then he got shook that I won.
Who did?
My buddy Nick. Yeah. He's the guy that literally pushed me to do all this. I tell him that every single day.
Yeah.
I'm like, Nick, you are the reason that I picked up the sniper because you were the guy to beat.
Yeah.
And after I beat you, and I was like, I might as well just keep going. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's when it all kind of started with the sniper rifle thing and all that. I saved up all my money like for a summer job.
What was the summer job?
I worked at a marina called Point Pleasant, and I would just do like kind of all the slack work. I would do like landscaping. I would like fix boats. I would pump the poop out of the boats. I would gas up boats. I would help customers. I would run the till. I would just clean beaches and all that. I would drive boats. I would do all that. And then I would just save up all my money from there. And it's funny because the entire time I was working there, I was talking to my supervisor and my boss. I was like, yo, what if this YouTube thing? The entire time. I actually had a video idea that I wanted to go back there for a day and just work. Yeah. And just like make me do the bitch work.
I always think about
I want to
like
do that.
going back and like I've I've thought about tweeting out. I'm like, hey, if your job allows for you to have an assistant, I want to be your assistant for a day and I want to vlog it.
Yep.
I never get around to it because I'm busy, but I think that would be like an incredible, like if somebody's picking up shit, I mean, think about, I've seen the Mike Rowe guy on whatever channel that is, where he goes out and like cleans poop and like does all those things.
It's American television.
Yeah, you don't have that over there? Yeah, this guy like volunteers to go, and he does all kinds of jobs, not just the poop ones. He has really cool ones where he climbs like towers to go change a light bulb and, just bad stuff. All right, sorry to interrupt you. Go on. So you have a job. You're talking to your managers about YouTube, and
I'm just like sitting here fantasizing about what YouTube could be. And at this time, I'm like getting like these like small subscribers. I'm like under 100 subs and all that. And then one day I got Apostle. He was on Twitter, and this was when he was streaming and all that. So he tweeted out, he was like, message me for invite MW2 headquarters and I'll invite you. And then I was playing with my buddy Dylan, and he was the guy that I would sit there and play. I would just sit there and snipe him all the time. Like we would just go against each other all the time just to like get better and all that. I would sit there and try and learn how to black scope across the map, do all the nerdy stuff. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna message him on Twitter. The tweet is still up there and everything. It's on my old account, Pamaj123. And I messaged him. I was like, invite gamertag Pamaj. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like 15 minutes goes by, and then I look at the top right corner, and it says Optic Apostle invite you. I'm like,
damn.
Oh my God, this is insane. And he was like, dude, what do I do? What do I do? He's like, join. And then how back then, if you accepted an invite, sometimes it wouldn't work.
Right.
That was the thing that was going through my mind. I'm like, holy cow, I hope this invite works.
The lobby gets full, or somebody joins.
Or like they just like back out of the lobby real quick and it just cancels it all out. So I was like, do I go? He's like, yeah, man, go. So I go in and I join, and I'm like that scared little kid, because there's the guy, there's the guy in the lobby that you watched all the time.
Yeah.
He's the guy, like what's that movie? Was it like Spy Kids or something like that? Remember that? Like the guy? I don't know, man.
I'm shaking my head. I don't know Spy Kids.
I don't know why I'm thinking about the guy right now.
Or Cody Banks, international spy.
Doesn't matter. He was just the Don. So he was live streaming and all that. We were playing headquarters, and then everyone else was going ham. And I don't know what it was. As soon as I got in that lobby, I just started playing like a maniac. I was playing.
A god.
Yeah, I was
your time
just
to shine.
dropping like bombshells, like just taking all the kills. And I wasn't a guy to hit like clips or anything like that. I was just getting like 3 pieces, and I was just whatever. But as soon as I joined the lobby, like one of my idols is there. It just clicked inside my head. Yeah. So time went on.
That happens a lot,
dude.
When people are so good,
it happens.
But sometimes they have a shitty game.
Yeah.
Right. But for you to like shine in the moment, in that right moment, had to been. Like it was meant to fucking be. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, go on.
The night goes on. We're playing for like 2 hours, and then he messages me. He's like, "Don't say anything." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then I get another notification in the top right. It said, "Optic Apostles sent you a friend request." I'm like, holy cow! Like what? I have an Optic member on my friends list. Like this is it. And I would, after that, like I got on his friends list, and then, ended the night off at that. And then we just started kind of playing a little bit here and there. And then that's how I got introduced to the Wolfpack, that's how I got introduced to Predator. And then after that, I made this video called Iridescent, and I didn't even choose the music. I didn't even edit it. My buddy, there's this guy called Blarpy, who to this day, I wish he would still be around. He would be my guy. He would be my channel manager. He would be everything. He would edit all that. I don't know. He's in LA or something.
Blarpy, if you're out there looking for a job,
come through, man. Let's do this.
Let's hit him up.
Let's kill BO4.
Yeah, if you're a barista somewhere and you would rather be doing this, or if you're a banker and would rather be doing this, or if you're whatever it is that you're doing, you'd rather be working in the video game industry, because you never know where it's gonna go.
Facts.
Hit him up.
So he's the guy that chose the music, and he's the guy that edited the video, and that's the reason why Apostle liked the video so much. And then after that, he like spammed it in the Optic Skype chat and all that.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, this guy has to be an Optic. This guy has to be an Optic. He was just telling Predator, it's like, yo, this guy should be an Optic. And then he was telling me, he was like, yo, when you're joining Optic, I'm like, why are you saying that to me? What am I going to say to that? You tell me when I'm joining Optic. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I feel like you're giving me false hope, and I don't know what to do with it, because
at the time, was I already managing focusing on esports?
Yes, this was the time you were full into MLG. So after that, I remember the night, man. It was I got a private like RC, and that was the night where I just like popped off within like 2 or 3 days. Had like some of the craziest.
RC is a recruitment challenge for those of you who don't understand.
Yeah, and I had like a crazy 3 days, and then I put all these unlisted clips together, and I just sent them off to Predator and Paul. And I was playing with Predator late night, MW2, Ground War. It was like 1 a.m, Wasteland. And then we were in an Xbox Live party. And then he just kind of popped the question. And he was like, so do you want to join Optic? And I was like, yes. And I didn't want to like sound too excited. I was just,
yeah, man. Yeah, sure. I mean,
I guess.
Let me check my calendar.
Might as well.
So I think I'm joining. Yeah, maybe, man. So, Omerta's out there asking me.
So after he popped the question, I said yes. And then he got off, and I turned my 360 off. And then that's when I just got up. My brother Zach was asleep. He was in bed. And I just shook him awake. I'm like, Zach, I just joined Optic. Zach.
Yeah.
And he's like, And then he woke up the next morning, and I go downstairs, and then he kind of understands. He's like, Austin just did it. He just joined Optic. Like, what is going on? And then that's when my mom thought it was all a scam. I don't know if you remember talking to my mom all those years ago, but she thought, you can't make money off video games. You can't do that.
I never understood that about parents. If my daughter, that'd be different. Let's say if I had a son.
It was a pretty early stage of the internet, though.
Yeah, but even then, it's like, I understand being a parent, and I understand being worried about absolutely everything and protecting your kid at all costs, no matter what. But I never understood that, because I remember this one kid won a faceplate, right? And I said, what's your address? I'm going to send it. He's like, my dad thinks this is a scam. And I'm like, I'm not asking you for money. I'm sending you something. What's your address? Give me your P.O. box. Like, come on. I need to get stuff off my plate. Let's fucking do this shit. And then he's like, can you talk to my dad? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like, all right, so what did my son win? A faceplate for his Xbox. What does he have to do? Nothing. Just give me the address. But what does he have to give you? I'm like, nothing. He won, man. It's like a raffle. Explain it to him. It's like a raffle. He just won something. He's like, I don't know. I'm going to have to do some research on this. I'm like, all right, tell your son that you're going to have to do some research. If you guys want the faceplate, it's there. Let me know. I just didn't have the mental bandwidth to just sit there and try to explain something. Mm-hmm. But when it was a teammate, and I've had this conversation first with yours, and the only other time that I remember speaking to a parent that was going to join the team was Kristen, Seth's mom.
Really?
Yeah. At the time, Seth was with Quantic, and at the time, Hasser and I had just started Eon Interactive, and
I thought that was the coolest thing back then. I was like, "Holy cow, Eon!" I don't know why.
Yeah.
When you guys did that, I remember talking about it with Wolfpack and everything. Like, we were like, "Holy cow, Eon, this is sick," and we didn't really know what that meant. What did that mean, like, for you? Like, outside looking in, we thought it was the coolest thing ever, and then nothing.
Yeah, so Eon Interactive, and this will be on another podcast when Hasser joins us, but Eon Interactive was the first of its kind marketing agency / representation agency that we wanted to start within the gaming industry. Sponsorships were about to start coming, like really heavy sponsorship was about to come in, so we wanted to align as far as like what we're offering in terms for whatever. Mm-hmm. Originally, we came up with a whole bunch of different names, but Eon sounded cool, and it was like Envy, Optic, and then Instinct. But that sounded cooler than what it was, which was just Eon Interactive. Yeah. There was no Instinct or any of that.
Eon was a dope name.
It wasn't an acronym or anything. But yeah, anyway, so I talked to me and Hasser were on the phone with Kristen, talking about how this dude, I don't even remember his name, but he was, holding on to Seth with, you want to hold on to your star player, and little Seth, he wanted to join Optic, and at the time, Hasser was like, well, I don't know if he's going to join Optic, if he's going to join us. We'll let him make the decision. Let's try to get him out of this contract, or let's try to get him out of here. And I'm talking to Kristen, and she's like, yeah, well, this guy's promising him the world and this, that. And I'm like, yo, no, look, this whole thing is real. Like the sponsorships behind this and everything that's happening, it's a real thing. And, I try to ease her into the understanding of the whole thing, because, she's new to this. She didn't understand what it would once, become. And yeah, that was like the other time that I talked, and then talking to your mom, it was the same thing. She was a little bit apprehensive of, okay, what is he joining, and what does he have to pay? What are his duties and responsibilities? I'm like, no, he's just making videos for his own, and that's what it is. That was pretty much it. If he uploads to Optic Nation, he gets all of it minus 10% because of the taxes and the whole nine.
Yeah, that's rad. It's rad. And thank God it worked out, because it took a lot of convincing, especially for my brothers, to be like, yo, this, like, even if it is a scam, it is like a good use of time.
Yeah.
He's sitting here, you're sitting there, you're learning a program from scratch.
Yeah.
Vegas, you're learning how to record, you're learning
Sony
how to
Vegas
edit.
Is an editing program.
You're learning how to do early social media on like at such a young age, and you know, to be exposed to social media at a young age kind of like toughens your skin up, especially at that time.
Absolutely.
When everything was just like off limits, you know what I mean? It's not the way it is now.
Yeah, you know, Judith and I always talk about the fact that, you know, like we are lucky that social media didn't exist when we were growing up, and then the more we think about it, I was like, actually, you know what, social media is lucky that it wasn't around when we were growing up, because it was buck, you know.
I'd imagine, yeah.
Imagine the freedom to do whatever the fuck you wanted without, you know, any repercussions of it ending on
Dude,
online.
The movies that came out back then would not be able to come out now.
No, I was watching one, and I don't know what it is, but within the first like minute or so, somebody dropped the F word for you know, the derogatory term for you know, the other F word, not fuck, the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, like, it, you know, whatever, we won't get into it, but yeah, it was bad. And I'm talking about, we were just talking about a YouTuber that said that for $5 or for something that he would, you know, his mom. He was grape his mom for like a headset or something. And I'm like, you know, at the time, like, I understand the comedy side of that, you know, like, you know, in comedy, you're able to say, oh, easy, you're not even.
Yeah.
Anyway, but in those times, like, you're allowed to say something. Comedians, for the most part, I am a firm believer that if it's, as long as it's in a comedic setting, you know, there's no limits. It's all, everything. There's nothing's off limits. You can joke about everything because it's a joke, right? As long as there's a true purpose and meaning behind the comedy, and there's cleverness around it, you know, it's good. You know,
if you go to a comedy show, you really can't be like offended, like, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's just, I don't know, I just can't. But anyway, so your mom ended up allowing you to play.
Gave me the A-OK to go ahead and play and just get lost in the sauce of optic and YouTube back then. And that was the reign, you know. I met Ashley, I met Predator, I met Apostle, I met Rated, I met all these guys, and we just sat there and we just played stupid amounts of video games together. And like, I'll always have those memories. And the best part is, I have so many of those memories recorded on my YouTube channel that I could just go back and I could just visit, because
relive them. Yeah.
I didn't like hang out with my friends a lot in high school, because as soon as I found this, I was like, this is what I want to do. So I'm gonna just sit here and I'm gonna just indulge myself in that.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, you've been doing this since you were 14. You're 22 now. So what is one... Well, let me ask you, it's a two-part question. Do you think that in this day and age, somebody can still make it as a YouTuber? Like somebody that's just starting out. Let's say somebody out there is a dad, or somebody out there is a teenager that's in school right now listening to this. Do you think that he can, if he starts today and just hopefully gets lucky, there's still a way for him to grow as a YouTuber?
I think you can, but the competition is just really, really high up there. Because I know there's this guy Testy, and he played with the Grind Squad in the beginning of Black Ops 3, and he didn't know a speck of English or anything like that. He didn't know any of that. He had like less than 10,000 subs. He had like 5,000 subs or something like that. We all just started playing together, and then over the course of 2 years, he learned English. He said he wanted to join FaZe. This dude joined FaZe. He moved to America. He did everything he set out to do. And it should put into perspective how much you should really put into it.
Yeah.
So BO3, I had like 34 days played. It's a lot of days played. Sprat had like 66 days played.
Sprat's like the anomaly. I remember somebody hit me up and said, "Hey, I need you to do a quote on Sprat's montage." And I was just like, I think it was somebody from Top Notch Multimedia or something. And I'm like, fuck that, why? Like, he's not on my team. I'm not gonna fucking give him props. And then I started seeing some of his clips, and I was just like, here's my quote: "That kid's got skill." And he did, bro. Because I hated Black Ops 1 because of what they did for a sniper. So for me to see someone be that good with a sniper,
you know what happened with that, right?
No.
The reason Black Ops 1 sniping was like that is
yeah. No, 100%.
Like the guy who made it like the way it is, you remember Predator's Black Ops 1 videos, right?
Yeah.
The guy who made it like that, that's how it was supposed to be. And then he went on vacation.
Yeah.
And then as he was on vacation, another guy came in and he changed the sniping
all
the way like that.
Yeah.
And that's why when you zoomed in, it was just swaying. For the first 2 months, it was just
good.
awful. It was like the worst thing ever.
All right. So on that same topic, what is one recommendation that you...
Doesn't let me finish it. Testy had 98 days played.
Mm-hmm. In what?
Black Ops 3.
Jeez, 98 days?
Yes. And this guy had a part-time job, and if that's the ethic you need.
No, absolutely.
You know, like I've been doing this for a while. James has been doing this longer than me, and this kid came out here and he just put it all on the line. And I'm not saying you have to sit down for 3-4 months on a video game, but that work ethic is what it takes to make it somewhere on this.
Because luck is part of this too, right?
Luck is absolutely a part of it.
Yeah.
You have to
Pamaj luck.
You can't burn bridges. There's so many people out there that are absolutely disgusting at what they do. They're so talented. They're crazy at editing, or like they're, you know, like their personality is like great, but like they just like, you know, people burn bridges, you know, and you can't
be nice.
It's not hard. It's not hard to be nice, man.
Not hard to be nice.
You know, what did your mom tell you when you were a kid? Just be nice. Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Pick up and wash the dishes. That's what she told me. So you can't go play ball until you mop the carpet. Yep. Yes, mop the carpet. That's how we cleaned our carpet. And my mom is super, like, almost to a fault, like super neat and clean. Mm-hmm. So she would make me mop the carpet. So it would be like carpet washing, but with a mop. Every Saturday without miss. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go to my basketball tournaments until that shit was done. Anyway.
So that was it.
So what was
the other question?
Yeah, what's the one tip that you can give a content creator? Because there's a million ways to create content. There's a million options to create content on. What is the one thing that has worked for you that if you could go back to little young 14-year-old Austin Pamaj what would you tell him?
Just be happy with what you're making, man. Don't like if you're selling yourself out in a way like you're just making content because you want to do this YouTube thing, and you think this is the way to get views, and you get it, you're gonna hate it as soon as you get it. You signed up for the wrong thing. You got to do it straight from the heart, like what it is you want to be creating. And as soon as you're happy with, like, as soon as you hit that upload button, or when you're getting up and you're wanting to edit, you know, back then my mom would take away my keyboard and mouse because I was up late night editing, and then I hit another keyboard and mouse in my closet. Yeah. And then I would just keep editing. Quietly. I would just keep quiet like that. You gotta have like a sickening work ethic like that. And I think what worked for me back then was I was like one of the first sniper kids to like throw the face cam on to do the live commentaries, and then to do the every single day upload. I was the kid that did that. And then after that, it just kind of blossomed in. So I guess find yourself a good schedule, find yourself with good content that you're really happy that you want to make, something that like you get an idea late at night and makes you want to get up to the computer and just finish it or try it, you know, because that's what a lot of people do on this space.
For me, and this goes back to as early as 2011, I feel like every single year I have a kid that comes up to me, and not the same one, but, you know, different ones at different times, at different age groups, and says, hey, listen, I want to do this full time, but my parents won't let me because of schoolwork or because of, you know, duties that I have to do around the house and because of this. And I'm like, well, you solved your own problem, brother. You've identified your problem, right? If your parents say you're playing too many video games, go outside and play. Go outside and play. Get back to it when you can. It's like if they tell you to get good grades, get good grades. All these obstacles are training you for the real obstacles that are going to come when life hits you. And one thing that people don't understand, and you know, in this YouTube day and age, like they'll never get the fact that for 2 years there was no way to make money off of YouTube. For 2 years, you know, the majority of optic, the majority of the content creators at the time, the Grizzes, the Hutches, the C9ers, like that, for 2 years we created content with no need for money. There was no way to monetize it. There was no ads being ran, or if they were all YouTubes. There was no real opportunity to make a living off of this. So at the time, I don't know why did a 26-year-old care so much about making and beating like 13-year-olds in 1v1s, you know what I'm saying, from Rage Sniping Clan or whatever. It was because I loved doing it. Not only did I love the video game, but I loved being good at it. And then on top of that, I loved creating something that people would watch. And I've always had this thing. I was just talking about it because there's this website called 12 Ounce Profit. It's a graffiti website. And I remember, you know, being 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and always like drawing something. And that was like my first time that I became internet famous in a sense, because I created a thread in a forum that got a lot of views, and people knew it because they always saw my name on there, and then it just kept on rolling out. So I always had like this need to create something that a lot of people would get to watch or enjoy and do something. So when the internet came along, or video games came along, and I was able to create something or show something that I was doing that was cool, it just like changed my.
Was anyone else in your family like really creative? Like
my mom is really good. My brother sort of.
Would they like do anything? Like, have you ever asked them like what would you create or anything?
Yeah, my mom's really good. Like she drew really well. She like very early on she would like teach me tricks with like the the color pencils on how to shade and all that, and I just like took that to the next level. You know, well, not to the next level, but in high school, I saw this kid drawing a name, you know, with bubble letters, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna draw this for this girl that I like. And you know, my introduction to graffiti was through me wanting to break the ice with girls. You know, I would draw their name. They'd be like, "Oh my god!" I'd be like, "Hey, I drew this for you." You know what I'm saying? And they'll be like, "Oh my god, marry me." No, but it would break the ice, and then you know you'd get to the conversation started. You know, you had to get creative back there. You couldn't just send a tweet and be like, "You're cute," or what are the
I don't know. You just slide in the DMs nowadays.
Yeah, there was none of that.
No DMs.
No, you literally had to slide to them in person.
You had to call them or like knock on their door.
Yeah,
or you had to like go to school and you had to make plans and just trust they're gonna show up there. To
this day, Judith's mom, you know, talks about how she used to hang up on me when I used to call.
Damn.
You know, sorry,
that's funny.
That's
funny to look back at though.
Yeah, I won, lady. I got your daughter. You know?
So the reason I asked that is because I think everyone kind of has like a creative like outlet like that kind of influences them. So my great grandmother, she's like one of the most creative people that I've ever known because for as long as she's lived, she has been making like quill boxes, and these quill boxes are made out of birch bark, and these quill boxes are literally the quills off the backs of porcupines, and she would make large ones. She would spend like 4 or 5 years on them.
Damn.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
So
her quill boxes are like in museums and everything like that.
Get out of here. That's awesome.
Yeah, so she would do that and sell them, and people would like sought after them. She would make moccasins from scratch. She would make dream catchers. She would make drums. She would make all of these things. She's just been doing that, and she raised all of her kids to kind of be an entrepreneur. She was an entrepreneur back then in her own way. And then now all of my aunts and uncles, like they're really good at painting or they're really good at crafts. You know, that's what a lot of my family like really good at, you know, art, like crafts and pushing their art out that way. You know, they're really stupid talented like that.
Yeah.
And I saw her when I was back in Canada this summer, and I kind of just clicked in my head. I was like, damn, I think I get a lot of my creativity from you because you sat here and you create something from scratch. You know, you have those creative urges. And I asked her like, what makes you want to do that? I just like to do it. And I asked her, how many quill boxes do you think you've made? She's like, I can't even tell you.
That's crazy. I just watched a documentary last night. Sort of. It's like a documentary-esque feature. It was, oh my God. It was about triplets that got separated at birth. I'm not gonna tell you the whole thing because there's a twist, but it's predetermined mannerisms and behavior. So these people got separated, right? Twins got separated, and triplets got separated, and when they sort of found themselves again, the way that they spoke, the way that they held their hands, just when they were resting, everything was so similar that it raised the question: are we the way that we are because we have control over who we are? Or is this a predetermined thing that you were just, somebody said this is the DNA, it's in your DNA to like to create things. It's in your DNA to be an artist. It's in your DNA to like music.
I think it might be in your DNA.
Yeah, because those two girls that, you know, completely separate, both went to film school, both have like weird mannerisms. Excuse you? I just lost 37 subs. Did you see that? Listen, don't get those. So for those who are listening,
get some F's in the chat, please.
Yeah, for those of you who are listening
subscribers.
listening and not watching, I have this sort of I don't know, counter that tells you when you gain subscribers, and it makes a noise when you lose subscribers. And I was at Castro's house, and he had one, and I'm like, I'm gonna tell you something, man. These are only cool to get if you're like in the right trajectory, because if you're going down, that's like a faint reminder. How sad was that sound, right? Those do that. Anyway, so I lost 37 subscribers on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed to me on YouTube,
they'll be back.
I would appreciate it if you hit it. If you can spare a subscription, do it.
Subscribing is free, people.
Yeah. So what was I saying? Where was it? What were we talking about? The predetermined. Yeah. Yes. So it's crazy, right? So everything that you are today, in theory, was handed down by just your DNA.
It all comes from somewhere.
Everything about it. Yeah.
Like my dad used to always burn CDs, like, and just like make his own like playlist on the CDs. And, you know, he didn't have a CD player, so he just, you know, get the cassette that has the wire in. You put the aux in the Walkman and all that.
Yeah.
And he'd always just make his own CDs. And nowadays, like I just like making my own playlist and all that. And I just love music, and I got really influenced by all the music he listened to. And then I don't know what kind of music were you listening to, like Fuel, like Default, like dare I say Nickelback for a little bit. But come on, everyone listened on Nickelback for a little bit. Maybe you didn't. People in Canada really mess with them. You know, they're kind of the gods in Canada.
The thing about me and music, and you can see this by the UMU, Old Men of Optic streams that we do, is that anytime Hutch starts singing a song, I don't know why, I don't listen to music, okay? Especially not that sort of music, but me growing up, listening to the music through my mom or my dad, like I know every single, I can sing along almost every single song that he puts on without having her. Judith is like, how the heck do you know that song? Like, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I think about it, I'm like, when's the last time I heard this song? But they're so good and popular that's what that became. Anyway, let's bring it back in. Let's talk a little bit about your Optic years, leaving for FaZe.
The first time, oh yeah,
before you came back to Optic and then joining FaZe again.
That's crazy, right?
It's awesome.
It's kind of cool, I guess. So the first time I left Optic was because it was kind of, I guess it was bad leadership, and that was when you weren't in leadership. That was because I'm not really. I mean, it's years later. Who cares? Back then, Paul, he was like the main guy, and you know, I felt like
Paul listens to the podcast, so be nice.
Paul, you know, I love you. We've talked about this before. Who cares?
Yeah.
Years ago. You know, this was when.
Wait, are you about to talk about the Kilimanjaro?
No.
Okay.
We'll get upon that. Don't worry about that. So. This was when like FaZe started coming out, and this is when you did like that the interview with Fakey and all that.
Yeah.
And Jambi was like playing with all of them. Like,
yeah.
It was sick. It was a good time. And Paul, it felt like we had the good players. We had like good footage and all that. It just felt like the editors and the videos that were coming out of it, they just weren't what they could have been. And we were just sitting here watching like the FaZe guys at the time just dominate that scene. They had the best editors. They were picky enough. They knew how to put the video together.
It was
ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. And I remember D-Treats came up to me and was like, yo, these guys are better than us. And I was like, no, they're fucking not. You know, like they're not. And they're like, okay, they may not be better than us, but they're better at making videos and people are latching onto that. And I'm like, maybe, you know, I was busy with, you know, with the Nate Shot, the brand new Nate Shot team and all that stuff. And, you know, helping Nate almost make videos alongside Predator and all that shit.
Yeah, Predator's like me and Nate Shot's dad.
Yeah, Predator is both your dads.
Literally.
Nate
like
Shot
we would not be around if it wasn't for that guy.
Predator, well, yeah. Predator gave...
He pushed us in like a really good 100%. Direction.
And I remember clearly like thinking, I'm like, all right. I'm like, look, I don't have time for that. Like, Paul got this. Like, go to... And in retrospect, I was, you know, I should have been a little bit more...
It's cool. No, it was worth it. Look where you are now because you did full MLG. You know, everything happens for a reason. That's what I believe.
Amen. Yes,
so
100%.
That happened. And I was talking to the Wolfpack, and then I got an invitation. Like, Seabass hit me up. He was like, yo, man, like, you killed that last team, Taj, whatever. I was like, it was all right, whatever. And then he kind of like nudged it my way. He was like, FaZe Pamaj. I'm like, I don't know. Cause at the time I was like, Predator got me an Optic. Apostle got me an Optic.
Yeah.
Ashley got me. Like these guys,
yeah.
I love these guys to death, you know? Like I don't want to just like throw that away. So I talked to all of them. I was like, guys, like I'm like, he keeps asking me like, it's an opportunity. Like I see how it's going on in Optic, you know? Feels like Paul's isn't making like the right decisions at the time, like picking like the right editors or anything like that. Kind of just like we were getting overshadowed and they were just doing all the right decisions.
Yep.
So I asked all of them, I was like, if I do this, I don't want like any like negative thing. Like I almost like I went to I went to them like for their blessing, honestly, because they got me there and I was like, this is what I want to do. And they all pushed me to go in the right direction. I was like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. So, and then I left Optic and then I joined FaZe. And then that was when I was like 16 when I joined. And that was like something snapped as soon as that happened. Like I went on like an absolute tear. Like Dropbox, like we were doing like these montage episodes. Everyone else had like one episode every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I had like 8 episodes in there within a week. Like fully edited and everything.
And you edited like...
Yeah. From scratch. And I just destroyed it.
I think if you are I think it's like the class of 90, whatever. In our case, it's like class of 2012. Let's make the official cutoff 2012. If you weren't making montages and being a YouTuber, then you're new school. Okay, so you don't get to be at day one the way that you know that we are. But anyway, sorry.
So I just made all of those videos, and next thing you know, I was in FaZe, and I started making a really big name for myself because you know I was just that guy you always saw. you know, I always had an episode drop, and I always had something to show. And then I made a video called like Iridescent 3, and that was like the first big video that I made on FaZe. And then after that, I made the Catalyst, and the Catalyst was like my baby. That's to this day, that's my baby. I don't know why I call it the Catalyst. Actually, I do know why. It's because I named it all after like Linkin Park songs, because I love Linkin Park.
Yeah, copyright.
Mike Shinoda follows me, so I think we're cool.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
No flex, but
yeah, right.
My favorite follow. So I just really like made a name for myself there on FaZe. Like I was just that guy. I was just the one pumping out these episodes, and we just kept the content going and going and going. You know, we kept getting like these good players. We kept having these great team Tajas and all that.
And they kept pushing you, right? The more talent that you they came up, you just saw what they were doing. You're like, oh my God, I'm gonna try
it's almost
this.
like they were trying to replace me with like some other players, and I was that guy. I was like, no, I'm gonna go dumb harder, and I'm gonna like do it better than you know. And then and I made a New Year's resolution when Black Ops 2 dropped. I was like, okay, I'm going to upload every single day.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that. It was just, it was the first time I ever did a New Year's resolution in my life. And that was the New Year's resolution that just changed my life. And it was Black Ops 2 as well.
Yeah.
That was the game that changed my life. I saw Seth, and like, I saw Seth doing his thing. I was just happy to see another guy out there, like, especially like my age, like just absolutely killing it like that. Like Seth was like a motivator too, because like, people would always like kind of compare our gameplays. Like, you know, Seth would just dominate with the red gun, and I would just do it with a sniper. And it's like, yo, you guys are like my favorite players and all that. Yeah. It just felt cool to be kind of like a part of that group, and like the exploding group of BO too. That game changed my life. Yeah. That game, I was a part of a volleyball team and all that, and I got the game early. My mom drove me to Toronto. I paid like $200 for the game, and drove back, no life diff for like 3 or 4 days, and I had a volleyball practice, and I had this video ready to upload. And it's crazy, dude, because you know how you can upload it from the UK and get it up a little bit earlier than here? Yeah. So I had the video all done. I skipped my volleyball practice, and then I sent it to Sprat, who Sprat uploaded the video to FaZe. And then that's the video that was the first Black Ops 2 sniper montage. And that's the one that has, I don't know how many views, like 7 million or something like that. That's just.
How many does mine have?
Not more than mine.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Mine's older.
But I think it's crazy, like the full circle that comes around. The fact that Sprat's the guy that uploaded that video, and then we find ourselves like living together and all that. Like we get to do all this together. Yeah, it was insane. It was just crazy full circle. Anyway, so that dropped, and then you know we just completely like just went full force content mode into the year. You know, there wasn't like really any set standard of like, you know, it was a live commentary. Thumbnails really weren't too hot or anything like that. You know, you couldn't do like there wasn't the time of 10 minutes. You know what I mean? It wasn't the time of.
What do you think made you stand out of like all these snipers, especially in a team like FaZe where everybody had like this sort of super spotlight on themselves, that, you know, just on being on FaZe you can gain this like massive popularity, and you can get, you know, as many views. What set you apart from there, do you think? Because Fakey, obviously he used to do like the craziest trick shots, you know, whatever. And then you, who wasn't or weren't a trick shotter.
Yeah, I think I was the first to upload daily, and my stuff, like I put my face on the internet, like first, like one of the first out of the entire thing. You know, the other guy, the biggest guy before I joined was Wartech, and he was that was
Anil.
him. Anil, great guy.
He's still killing it.
He's still killing.
He travels the world taking just fashion.
You see his Instagram, right?
Oh, dude, it's my favorite Instagram. I'm like, look at this, what he's doing now, man. Like he's one of my favorite Instagram.
He's like modeling for like Off-White or something like that.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's modeling for them, but he's definitely modeling for himself.
He's doing something.
Yeah,
he's a good-looking guy. You can gas him up.
Incredibly looking. Don't non-gas him up. That's the man. You know, I think he was one of the first montages that I thought that I'm like, all right, you know, there's something here, because he sat down in his bed, he grabbed this controller, and then a hologram of him comes out, and then it's like spins around. So for those listening, I'm painting a picture of somebody holding a controller, and if you picture the holograms that happen in Star Wars, that's what was happening out of his controller, but it was him that was popping out, and it was super 3D, and then all of a sudden he presses it, and then it shoots into the thing, and you know, everything was great.
Wartech had like the French demographic. Like he was King French,
Yeah.
King France.
And
you
then
know?
Gotaga comes along.
Gotaga comes in. He
later.
comes in.
Did you know Gotaga was an Optic at one point? Optic EU?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, Gotaga. It was Optic, Gotaga, Matadors, and other people.
Was
But-
Swanee with them too?
No, Swanee came later. And Swanee was more from an esports standpoint.
Yo, shout Swanee. I love
yeah,
you.
Swanee, mate.
Swanee,
Love you.
mate. Love you.
Anyway, let's fast forward a little bit to some more.
Let's get updated.
Yeah,
I think we've reminisced pretty.
Yeah, we did.
For a while. There's a lot.
So-
The thing is, there's
wha-
a lot to reminisce in this space.
Absolutely.
Especially when there's a lot of things we haven't talked about to like
The public.
the public.
Not only that, but we've known each other for like shit, dude, almost a decade. Okay, so there's a lot of history there that we could. Yeah, think about that.
Wow.
It's nasty. So let's talk. Why are you leaving me again? And let me open the door by saying that if you ever leave FaZe and to come back to Optic, I welcome you, just so we can keep the trend going, okay? Of joining Optic, leaving Optic for FaZe, leaving FaZe, joining Optic, leaving Optic, joining FaZe.
We'll see what happens. I'll keep it in mind.
It's an open door policy here
Good to
for
know.
good people.
And one day
100%.
you'll just wake up and I'm on your couch and be like, I'm back.
Yeah, back with, oh, shit, Canada.
Like, ah, it's lit. So I guess it all started at the beginning. I guess like kind of the move. We were like McAlpin. We had a great year. We had great 2 years, man. Like we made such good content. Everything that came out of that house was great, and I think
Fire.
it was absolute fire. It was an amazing experience. Every person that came into that house made that house what it is. And
Yeah.
I'll never ever forget that. That was my those were my quote unquote frat years, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
you know,
college years.
the college years. So it started to get like a little bit toxic in that house. I think everyone can agree, because we were just kind of eager to make the next step to just kind of get out of there. It kind of just felt like it was a loop. And that's a thing with this life. It's a very grindy life. And if you aren't careful enough to make sure you break that loop, you're going to get stuck in it and you're going to feel toxic. It's going to feel toxic in your room. There's been a lot of times where even at my setup, it just feels toxic. I'm just like, how long have I actually been here? You know? So it all kind of started like after the move, because you know it wasn't mandatory to see everyone. It wasn't mandatory to be with everyone. You didn't wake up and everyone was just there. The move happened, and then we found ourselves here. Everyone kind of just went off and did their own thing. Even already, me and James were at a different apartment than you guys.
Yeah.
And me and James kind of had our own thing going on here.
At the better apartments.
Yes.
I say.
Yeah. As of right now, I mean, today, like my water smells like eggs, so I don't know. It's disgusting, dude. Ugh. Anyway,
I love eggs, but not in my water.
oh, dude, it's no.
Unless they're poached eggs, then maybe.
I like poached eggs too, but this is not like the good egg you want to
No.
smell.
Imagine showering an egg. All right, let's move on. Sorry.
Yeah, stop. It all kind of got a little bit weird. When like the space immediately when we were told like what the space is going to be like at the Optic offices, we go there and they had said that they wanted us to be in the middle of like the room and all that, like the bullpens and all that, and we're like, no, that's not going to work. And immediately it didn't feel like a creative space whatsoever.
Yeah.
It felt like business, and even then, not putting anyone on blast there, but it's like, and it just kind of felt like we were kind of like wild, like we were just like zoo animals, kind of like walking in there every single time we walked in and out. And I think I speak for a lot of us. We didn't even like really want to be there too much, because it just wasn't like the atmosphere we thought it was. It wasn't the atmosphere that we were promised. And remember that one example you made out of it? I just go into a room and then you were like, yo, scream as loud as you can.
Yeah.
And then I did. And then as soon as I walked out, everyone was like,
Yeah.
and then you're like, there you go. That's
Yeah.
we need that space. We need that.
Yeah.
We need that freedom to just be as loud as we can. And clearly, that's just not how it is here.
Yeah.
So, there was a lot of false promises, I guess, especially in October when James and I came here, and we were searching for apartments and all that, and we had a meeting with some individuals here, and we were promised, you know, the typical things of what you have to move here. You know, you need visas and all that, and we were promised that, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't come that way. And why it didn't happen, I still don't know. You know, if you promise something like that to someone, you probably should keep it up. You know, James moved across the pond here for that. You know, I had this entire thing set out in my mind, like James and I are going to come over here and kill it. And for someone to be told that, I lived with him, and James couldn't like mentally fully move in here until he had what he had, you know, and he just never got it. So that was a big thing that was really disappointing, especially like I had to deal with, Scuff like for the apartment and all that. And we were going to do like such great content there. And we couldn't fully move forward without that, cause we weren't sure if, he would just have to move back, and that's a big thing. To like that, the uncertainty makes you not want to just fully commit to like a certain spot. So that was the first red flag. That like really pissed me off really bad. The second red flag was when there was individuals like disagreeing with each other on the content side, and Davis went to Mexico, and then we almost lost a fellow member, and that was really bad how that was handled. That was awful. People's livelihoods like not being taken like seriously into account, as if they're just like, like what did we do these 2 years for?
Yeah.
The 2 years, we had a great 2 years, and to watch these guys just toy with it, not take it seriously, not show the same respect and love that we put into it when they come in here. Just because because you go to school and all that, like you get told like how these brands work and all that. You have to understand the culture. You have to understand the brand. You can't mess around with it. If you mess around with it, then you don't really know anything about it, like whatsoever. And if you don't love it the same amount as like we do, then the outcome and your decisions is just not going to add up. There's a lot of things that just weren't making sense with their decisions. So that with Aaron, that was bad. That was a red flag for me right after that. Third red flag was when dropped the Halo team like a week before World Champs. Was it a week or two?
It's about a week.
Oh my gosh, dude. I still don't fully understand like why like how much sense that makes, especially when they're the back-to-back champs. They won for us. They won before us, and they were friends. Like BTH. Like we've like Nick grew up with these guys like all throughout Halo. It's more than just a team.
Absolutely, family.
It's a family, and to sit here and to watch them just kind of pick it apart without any, I guess, empathy.
Yeah.
Like really just kind of hurt to just sit here and watch.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what, I wasn't in any position to like, I don't know what my position is to like make any decisions to like stop that. I'm not in the position to do that.
I mean, from my perspective, it was tough, right? Because, we built this thing together, and I'm in charge, and I'm the only person in charge. I don't have to check with anybody to do anything. And this past year for me has been like a year of like self-discovery and just focusing on projects, because for the past 7 years, it's always been about my kids, and and I call you guys my little brothers, because you guys that's what you are. So for me to watch that happen and sort of have to, sit back, give my advice and my input as to like why we shouldn't do certain things or why we should do certain things, and then just seeing people just say, we got it, man, we got it. And I'm like, it was unfortunate for me to have to be like, you know what? I'm gonna wash my hands off of this a little bit, because I just did this for 7 years. I have like I need some me time.
Yeah.
And on the same side, I remember just being completely angered by this sort of like miscommunication that I didn't have with these people that were essentially taking over the beautiful brand that is our team. And when this one fucking asshole started tweeting bad shit about the event, or like why we were getting out of Halo, like not knowing shit about why these people had made the decision. This person who wasn't even part of like the leadership group at Infinite. And this dude was like making comments on Twitter. I literally fucking lost my shit. I went in there the following day, closed his fucking door, sat down, and I pointed my finger at him. Don't you ever. At first I'm like, are you a spokesman for Optic? And like, no, he's not. I'm like, all right, don't ever talk about Optic. And I'm like, do you know why they dropped the Halo team? He's like, no. And I'm like, well, why the fuck are you mentioning that? And I was already mad at this dude, because he had just made an interview where he gave credit to somebody else about the content that we had created at the Scoff House. This dude went on and said, yeah, we have this, Optic has this tremendous relationship with brands because of the work that that somebody else is doing. And I'm thinking there, and all the examples are smooth competitions. And then one of the main examples was the smooth competition where we were doing the obstacle course. And I'm sitting there reading this thing, and I'm like, there's no credit giving to Hecz, none at all. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, time out. I remember clearly that the smooth competition, this specific smooth competition, there was no mention of Hector or Hitch in this article. And as long as the job gets done, I don't give a shit who gets credit. But in this case, I was really, really upset because they didn't give Hitch credit. And I sat there and I told him, I'm like, I manned the fucking drone. I worked second camera. I acted and participated in this thing. I came up with this. I called the people to send over this balloon of things. I helped my people fucking hammer the fucking thing and set it up in my own backyard. And I got no single credit. You're handing credits to somebody else. And that's where I said, you know what? You guys want to do it your way? I'm stepping back like completely. And that's where shit started rolling downhill in a sense. That's
where the blood started boiling.
Yeah, and you know what's fucked up though is that it's not necessarily the investors that are. Let me rephrase that. It's definitely not the investors that have. There's the people running this new thing. You know, the investors get it for the most part. They just are at the mercy of the people running it, essentially. So, you know, I got really, really upset at this dude. That was it just made my blood boil. You know, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I was just like really, really upset with everything. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna continue to focus on content with my people, which is what I like to do. It frees my mind. It frees a lot of like my just everything, man. Like creating content with you guys, creating content with everything. It's like what I live for. It's like this is what I like to do. Is my fun thing. You know, focusing on developing talent and doing all the things, like interacting with all my teams, all my team members. Like was my thing. You know what I'm saying? But man, 7 years of that. You know, I need
dude.
Break, dude.
People don't understand the mental toll with it, man. Like they really don't. Like this is the best job in the world. It's also the hardest job. And if anyone who says it's not, fully invite them to go ahead and give it a shot. You know, that's I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you can't do it. Like just give it a shot. Feel it out. See if you can do it. If you can't, then respect it. Respect the people that all put their lives at stake to make this one dream happen. Yeah. You know? And everyone needs a break, dude. Everyone really does. And I think that I started my, I guess, hiatus break, I guess, the beginning of like kind of like last year, because I was feeling burnt out. The games, we had like a really bad string of just not good games, especially after Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
That didn't help, especially like when nobody really wants to watch it as much. I'm not a pro player, so I couldn't get lost in that. You know, I didn't have tournaments to play or anything like that. You know, everyone in Optic kind of had like their own thing, you know, and I didn't want to confuse what they're here for with what I want and with what keeps me happy.
Yeah.
You know, because I really give a shit about people like that. Like I want to be a part of like that. But there was a time where I just wasn't happy, and especially after this year, there's just a lot of things that were going on at home, and that's why I was at home a lot. And I felt like I had to be home. And anytime I would come back from home, something would happen, and I would just have to go back. And it felt like I was just missing out on so much there. And I was like, okay, I've been away from home for like a really, really long time. And it's hard. It's hard to have your heart in so many different spots, man. And to fully put your mind into it. Like you don't have the clarity, because like when I'm here, I'm still always thinking about Canada. I'm still always thinking about my family. I'm still always thinking about that. Like, what are they doing? You know, what am I missing out on just to be here? And, you know, you can't really think like that, but at the same time, it's there. You know, it's hard to have your heart in many different places, you know, and to put your maximum effort, you know. So it was a lot of like what was going on, like with the corporate of Optic, and you know what would happen with James and things going on at home. It all really like added up. And there was times like I would go to sleep it was a solid month, like where my days were nights and my nights were days. It was a really bad mind state, and I can't believe I was even in it. Like I would wake up at 9 p.m. and go to sleep at like 7 a.m. and I just wasn't happy, and I just like everything that was going on back home, and just kind of in my personal life, it added up. And especially like with the burnout of the YouTube and trying to figure out like where I am, where do I want to be in this world? You know, where do I want to be with my content? What do I want to do? I want to help my town out. I want to, you know, give more opportunities to like kids on reservations. I want to, you know, give more opportunities to the kids at school, because like I do like scholarships and all that, like at my high school and all that, you know, give kids money like to help them go in college and all that, you know, just little things here and there. I want to do more of that. So to do more of that, I have to be.
Those aren't little things, man. Those are big things. Don't downplay that, because that's fucking huge. Not a lot of people in your position go back and give something back to where you grew up. I have this sort of idea that I want to go back and redo the school that I grew up in Juarez, Mexico. Like, and I see it on Google every like once a month. I'll go back on Google Maps and then go to my school, from my house to my school, and I'll walk it all the way. And I'm like, I'm in a position right now where I can help it. And I always, like, I've asked several people, like, how do I help build this new thing for them? How do I give them iPads? How do I give them computers? How can I get there? More importantly, how do I keep them in that school without having, Juarez, Mexico is
The outside noise.
It's not the outside noise, man, but it's I don't want to say corrupt but it is a little bit, man. And if I donate iPads, if I donate computers, and I'm not saying just me, because I want to make like a big thing, but how do we make them keep it? How can we protect the gifts so somebody else doesn't come in and take advantage of the situation? Because of the way that things work there is, it's a little bit sad for everybody, because there's no real opportunity for anybody to it's limited, man. You have to try so hard to be able to get out of that sort of situation. And if you have an opportunity to just make a quick buck taking an iPad from somewhere, you're gonna fucking do it. Yeah. So like, I struggle with that, like, not all the time. So don't say it's a little thing, man. Like, what you're doing is fucking something that I wish I could do badly. So like, badly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're joining FaZe because this has something to do with that, right?
Yeah. So that all kind of came together when I was when I was just kind of watching things happen here. I was always keeping up with James. I was just back home. I was talking to my mom. I was talking to my friends. I was talking to my brother. Resetting, like getting out of the YouTube space, like just not doing that. It's an entirely different world. It's a fast life if you just get lost in the social media, because you can. Yeah. It's so easy to get just lost in the tweets. So easy to just get lost in the video. So easy to just get lost in the numbers, and and have that be like your motivation and drive, because it is like a certain form of addiction. You get an adrenaline rush, like when you do it, you get that satisfaction. You just want to keep outdoing yourself, like as it happens, and that's a good thing. I think that's how work ethic goes across everything, whether you're an NHL player, or NBA player, anything like that.
Let me ask you this, and sorry to interrupt you, because I think it's an important thing. When you were in those moments, or in those days where your nights were days and your days were night, that's something that a lot of people suffer through, right? Like the anxiety, the depression, and I'm not saying that you went through all those things, but you were in your head too much, right? You were in your head. You didn't know what you wanted to do with that. Like, what helps? What helps? What helped you be able to say, you know what? How do I get my mental state right? Because I think that it will benefit people if you are able to explain your situation, to be able to give somebody a tip as to how you got out of that slump.
So my mom did mental health for 15 years, and she's always made that really like a very crucial point, a very important part of me and my brother's lives, to always like look after each other. And all of us, the best of us, get caught in those moments. The best of us get caught in those like really just trash spots. And like what was happening with me, like I was just really like in over my head, and it was hard to be in Canada but to still have everything here, and to just watch everything kind of happen with like corporate optic, and to just have everything just always be in my mind when I'm there. Yeah. It was like I couldn't get sleep. Yeah. It was like I couldn't do anything like properly. So, I mean, I've always been the person to just kind of get lost in the arts, and just like, and kind of creating, like I love music. I can't sit in a room of silence. It just can't never happen like that. I'll always have music playing, because it just takes me out of there. Like I'm perfectly fine with hanging out by myself as long as I have music. Yeah. And at the time it was in the summer as well, and it was a lot, because I this is like the first year I've felt loss. And me and my family, like we lost a lot this year, and we all kind of like went through that together. Yeah. And I never we've never felt that before. So we were all kind of just like going through it, and that all added up. So to get out of it, I had to force myself. You know, I was always looking for someone to come visit. I was always looking. I didn't want to be alone anymore. I was always like hitting up my friends, like, yo, come over. You know, whether we were just hanging out, listening to music, whatever, just playing games. I always needed someone to be there. I was reaching out, you know, and whenever somebody reaches out to you, kind of like that, you kind of have to, you know, be with them, you know? So I was just getting lost in that. I didn't want to make videos. Playing Fortnite helped. Yeah. Because I didn't want to pick up a controller. I was pretty sick of a controller at the time, and, you know, my hands, I think the carpal tunnel's coming up, you know? I wanted to play a new game. Fortnite was popping. You know, it's not because I wanted to play it because it was popping. Screw it. Everyone was playing it. It's popping. Everyone likes the popular game. Yeah. And it was a new challenge.
And it was a good game.
It's a fantastic game. Anyone like...
Minus the building.
I like the building. I do. I kind of like it. So I got lost in that. I sucked for the first 3 months, and then I got good at it, and I was like, damn, like, let's go. It was just a new challenge, you know? Let's keep going with that. So I was just playing that, just getting lost in that, just keeping myself busy, and then I found myself just waking up early in the morning and then just going back in the gym. And I found myself like going to the gym for like 2 hours at a time. You know, normally I'd go for like an hour, and I was just like, man, there's no games to play. I'm kind of just waiting for my friends to get off of work. I don't really want to make videos because like I'm not in the right mind state to do that. It's not going to be genuine. It's not going to be authentic. I'm not going to be happy about it. It's just going to be another YouTube video, you know? So I just had to keep myself like busy. So I just kept going to the gym, and then it was literally a day I woke up. I was like, dude, I don't want to sit around anymore. Like, this is not who I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to sit around and just, you know, be sad. Like, I started asking myself, like, why am I sad? What is it that I'm not feeling fulfilled in my life right now that just I don't have right now? Why is it? And then it just kind of, it came down that I was just asking myself all these questions. Like, okay, I have a separate life here. What is it about here? What's going on here? What is it that the content side that just doesn't, what is it about here that just doesn't make me happy? And it was just being away from family, and just to see what we built for like 2 years, just kind of not being shown the love and respect that we put into it, and to just watch it kind of just get like toyed around like that. It didn't help. So I was like, okay, this might be a hard pill to swallow, but I think I should leave, because if I leave, then I don't want to just be, you know, another member just separated. You know, if I'm going to be a part of it, I want to be a part of it. If I'm just not going to be a part of it this time, then it's just not. And like I said before, you can't help anyone until you help yourself. And that's, you know, I'm the type of guy, like I will want to reach out. I will want to like ask how they're doing. Like ask them, like, what are your ambitions? Like, well, I want to see you do you know? And anytime somebody asked me that, I didn't have an answer. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I need to figure that out. I need to find that answer. So
I more than anything, when we talked yesterday, like when you said you got to help yourself, and I always say that to other people, but like this year was like the first year that I actually did that for myself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you know, going through what we went through and all that shit, you know, it happens, right? It's unfortunate, but it happens. And to be clear, like, I don't have any ill will towards anybody there. You know, it is what it is. But when I started focusing on this studio and like what I want to do next and all that, and realizing, you know, that we can sit here and dwell on everything that's going right, and you can try to help, and whether the help gets taken or not, like that, you at least gave it a try. And this year, and Jude has been like such a supportive you know, entity, not just wife, but like entity in my life that has pushed me to really focus on myself and do what I want to do. And like this podcast, for example, like I've always wanted to do a podcast. Like even the Optic podcast was sort of like my outlet to create and have conversations with this. And you know, when I started doing this, it was just like such a relief, man. When I first like got the name and when I released the first episode and all that, I just like it was the first time that I felt like I'm doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like I am accomplishing something that I set out to do.
When I look at you do myself, this, it looks like you're doing your own movement, and that's what everyone should be doing. Yeah. You know, not waiting for people to do that. Yeah. Like you're out here chasing that. You're the one pushing the button. You're the one making the moves. You're the one out here making the setups and all that, you know? And I used to be the person that kind of just like wait on that. And I was like, okay, why why should I wait on it? So many things just happen faster when you just do it yourself.
Yeah.
And I used to be like that, and then I got caught in the slump of just a bad slump, just like really just a bad mind state and mindset. And then I just like watching Courage do his thing, watching people just be the one to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, that's who I'm supposed to be. This is not, I was looking at myself outside looking in, like in my office, like this is not who I'm supposed to be right now. I can't be like this. I'm not happy like this.
Yeah.
Something needs to change.
Yeah.
I need to be the one to push the button. I need the one to make the change. And that's only going to happen unless I make the moves that, you know, sometimes they suck. Sometimes when you think they might hurt someone, they'll really understand, you know? And I think that's what a lot of people overthink. I used to think that a lot of the times, you know, when I would do a decision, I'd be like, oh, is he going to be pissed off at me or whatever? And then I would just tell them, and like honestly, like straight up, and then they would understand, because just like anyone, if anyone told me like if they couldn't hang out with me anymore because they want to go off and do their own thing, why would I take offense to how you want to spend your time?
Right.
Like you're the only person who knows how to do you the best. Like I can't make you be the best person you can be. Only you know how to do that. I don't know how to be you. No one knows how to be you. No one knows how to be me.
And nobody knows really what people are going through or why the reasons behind the things that they're doing.
No, and the thing with this internet space and like the social media, you get the chance to share how much of your life goes along with it, but that also comes with the penalty of, you know, people only see what you show. Yeah. And that's where, you know, you have to really balance yourself out, because if you get people too involved in your life, then they start thinking what's the best thing for you, when really focus on your own life. You know what I mean? Like it's not your call not your call to think what's best for the other person.
Absolutely. So tell me how FaZe falls into this thing that you're doing, if you can talk about it. If you can't.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely. So today, I think my mom's gonna get here at 6 p.m. and she's gonna Uber here to the to where we are, and we're gonna do a 22-hour drive.
22 hours.
22 hours. Yeah, we're gonna do the drive from here to Canada.
I can't believe you wanted to do it by yourself. Like I understand.
I wanted to do it by myself, but also my car tags were expired. Ooh. Yes. So I was gonna drive out Monday.
They ain't gonna catch you, man. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. That's pretty bad, man. Like I honestly got back to my I got back to the Civic, yo, and my car was so dusty. Like I haven't been there in so long, and I was so happy to see the car. And then of course some people are like drawing like just
watch me.
No, dude. Like some guy got creative. He drew a cowboy hat with like a penis on top. I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? Like,
wait, so it wasn't even a hat on the penis. It was
like, dude, it was like a 10-gallon hat, and then the top of it, and it had like a penis head like right there. It was kind of creative. I laughed. I was like, okay, that's kind of creative. And then I looked at my windshield wiper, and it was like a notice of it getting towed because of expired tags. I'm like, oh my God, dude. And I looked at the date and how long ago it was supposed to be towed, and I was like, okay, I think I'm fine. I just don't want to drive too far and risk it. Yeah. It's funny because I took.
Well, you would only get a ticket. It wouldn't tow your car.
I mean, I think they could tow the car.
No, I mean, no, they couldn't.
There was a notice there. The car was parked, expired tags, and they were threatening to tow it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is with that. You know?
Neither do I. I'm not an expert.
I don't know either. So that kind of just made me I was like, all right, let's just plan it out differently. So I'm doing the 22-hour drive, and we're gonna stop in Chicago. We're gonna stop at Portillo's. We're gonna stop and get some deep dish pizza. I'm excited to do this drive with my mom. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time, especially in the Beamer too. Because last time we did a big ass drive like this, it was like to Florida, and we were in the minivan, and it was just like cram full. You know, we were like kids. So I'm excited to be an adult and spend this time with my mom. You know, just do that. You know,
awesome.
So we're gonna go there. The house is gonna be. I don't know when the house is going to be announced or anything like that. I don't know how much I should really speak on that, but there's going to be a house there. I'm going to be there. Well, right now, I guess I'll be there with Nikon, Agony, and Replays, and the Canadian guys. And I'm really excited about this because I get to be closer to home. Yeah, I get to be like, my brother lives in Toronto with his girlfriend, his fiance. I get to be 2 hours from home. Like my friends are all there. All my friends are like living out in Toronto now. Like the people I grew up with. Yeah, the opportunities that Toronto are putting out there are really good. My little NHL hockey team, there's a lot of opportunity that they would like to do with me, and I would love to do for them, like bring them to the house.
So tell us about your hockey team. What is it?
So the hockey team I sponsor is every single year I'll choose like just a team from First Nations, and we'll just hook them up.
What's First Nations?
First Nations, reservations. where they put where all the natives live.
The Native Americans.
Yes.
All right.
So it's this huge tournament that happens every single year in Toronto. I used to play in it all the time, and I got sick like really bad like at a few of them. And the experience for me wasn't like too fun outside of the hockey games.
Yeah.
Not anything a kid should really go through.
Yeah.
So me and my mom came up with this idea. It's like, hey, let's put one of these teams on. Let's make them feel like superstars. Let's give them all the gear. Let's give them some ice time. Let's let's play games together. Let's just have it a fun time. Like a kid should not have to go to hotel beds and there's blood stains everywhere. The kid should not like have to risk getting food poisoning from like any of these places. Like that was just bad. Like let's make these kids have a great experience.
Yeah.
So it worked out really good the first year, and then the second year it worked out really, really, really well too. And now we really want to like just make it better every single time. So these tournaments that happen every single year, it's going to be close to Toronto. I'd love to just maybe have some of these kids maybe have them play video games with like some NHL players or something like that, because that's the opportunities that could possibly happen out there. And that's what I really would like to do. There's a lot of opportunity, and Toronto gets it. Norm Kelly, I think we all know Norm Kelly. He gets it, and he's a big influencer in Toronto. So there's just so many opportunities out there for me. I get to be closer to home. I get to be closer to friends. I get to be around new energies. And I think that's something really important that people should really focus on, chasing new energies, like seeing other people masters of their classes.
Do you have a charity for this that's open to the public to donate? Have you thought about doing something like that? Because I'm sure a lot of people would like to support you, but more importantly support the kids.
Yeah,
in some capacity, man. A dollar goes a long way.
We're gonna have merch, and all the proceeds are just gonna go to the teams and all that. See, I wish. I can't wait to like just hit up hockey sponsors. Like I want to get these kids like new hockey sticks, new hockey skates, and all that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, that's a good approach. To ask people, to donate shit that they're not using anymore. But if you start a charity, man, like you yourself can make a lot of like a difference on your own without having to go shake your tin cup at sponsors, man. You yourself with what you built, and obviously your friends supporting you. I think that we could all pull a good donation to where we can buy these kids hockey sticks and pads and all that shit.
That's what we want to do. That's what I want to do. Like, I want to, it's the most I could ever ask for is to just kind of give back like that. And it just feels so good. Like I go to these events, those hockey tournaments, and native kids are so funny. They're either like really shy and they keep to themselves, or they're like rambunctious. They're really outspoken. And it's so great because they bring you out of your shell. They brings like the
kid in you.
It brings the kid out of you, but like when you're a native and you see these little native kids kind of just being them, it brings the kind of like the little native kid out of you. It's like awesome. It really touches your heart like that. And yeah, man, that's just one of the things I want to do back. And there's a lot more opportunity in my town as well. I've had like a few offers to possibly run some events there.
Yeah.
Some charity events that would be really cool. Maybe like, I don't know if I could do a Call of Duty event or something like that, or NHL. I'm going to start playing NHL. We call it Shell. Start doing that there, and especially because, Bob Yours from my town, we can get a lot of influence down there. And honestly, if we plan it to be like in the summertime of the year, absolutely everyone should come down.
Yeah.
I've always told you guys, come to Perry Sound.
You know what I'm doing. I'm not hanging out with you or anyone. Or my friend here. I'm going fishing.
Yes, you're going out on Georgian Bay, and
But we're not killing them.
I have like two friends that really want to take you like fishing. Like,
please.
They want to take you to the spots.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
All right. Well, when that happens, me and your friends are gonna be doing that. You guys can go do your Perry Sound stuff. You get drunk and drink maple syrup out of milk bags.
How did you know we do that?
I don't know. I'm racist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could tell.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, you have anything else? We've been going at it for a minute now, man. I don't want to keep you. You got your moms coming in a little bit, and
shit, man. I just like people need to know like this isn't like a sad thing.
No.
What's happening, like not just with me, I think with the timeline of Optic and everything that's kind of happening in this space. It's not a sad thing. It's eventful. Mm-hmm. There's drama. Everyone loves that, especially on the internet. But it's not what the main point. It's not a sad thing.
Yeah.
It's a new chapter, and I think all of us are slowly starting to realize that, and we're all we're all starting to like really understand like we're on this part of life that we need to, you know, make our own decisions and just go, you know, be the best us, you know, and whether that means, you know, if we lose like a 5 letters in front of our name or anything like that, that doesn't matter.
Well, I would never do that.
It doesn't matter.
I'm here for life.
You wouldn't just go play Hecz again?
No, I couldn't. No, man. Optic is my life, my life's work, my life's passion. If I can help it in any way, I will. You know, it'll always be. Optic to me will always be a sort of, not an illusion because it's a real thing, but it's a symbol. It's to me, it's more than just a logo out there, right? It is more than that, and it's not just because it saved my life, but it's because of the amount of people that have come together to build something incredible. More importantly, the sort of family feel that we've created, and you coming in to me and saying, "Hey, I'm going to join another team," like that will never affect like our friendship because we were brothers in something special, and it'll always be that way for me. So no, I would never just go plain Hecz. No, I'm gonna die Optic.
I said
Hecz.
Plague.
Oh, Plague.
Plague, yeah.
Plague. For those of you who don't know, it was my first Call of Duty team in Call of Duty 2 before I joined Optic. Funny enough, when you were telling the story about how you joined Optic, I relived how I know every single aspect of the moment that I was brought onto Optic, every single special thing. I remember looking at my brother and saying, I just got asked to join Optic. And my brother saying, it's like, do it, you know? And then after he said, do it, you know, him and the rest of the guys were like, well, what's going to happen to us? Because that shit's going to die if Hector's not running it. And, you know, sure enough, it did. My brother ended up bringing my brother over to Optic, and we did something else.
You couldn't think like that. Like, if you couldn't be like, oh, I'm going to stay with Plague because I don't want it to die. You know, you had to do what you had to do.
Yeah.
And now look what it is.
There's always something about Optic that
always
did
something.
it. And then once it became mine and mine alone, I watered it every single day. I plucked the shit that needed to be plucked out. I car washed it and shined it every single day to make it something that everybody could be proud of that's a part of it. So anyway, brother, thank you so much, man. This won't be the last time. I want to do a podcast like this one in the future in Perry Sound, Ontario.
Let's do it. I think we should also do one maybe in the future just with everyone at the
1, 2, 3, 8.
McAlpin. I know you're
10
I know you're
person.
gonna do the 60-50 one. That's gonna be a good one, but we should also do a 1, 2, 3, 5.
Yeah, and I also want to do a podcast with you, Predator, and Dietrich to just talk about sniping and sniping only.
We could totally do that.
It'd be sick, wouldn't it? Like
Yeah.
the theory behind, because I don't think people understand the movement and how important sniping was in Call of Duty esports, even as it stands. Because if it wasn't for the sort of popularity that Optic got off of sniping, if it wasn't for the popularity that FaZe got off of sniping, the amount of casual players that loved sniping because of that then sort of started to migrate to esports, and it helped a lot. So I do want to touch on that a little bit.
Another good one I think would be I think me, Predator, and Nate Shot with you.
Yeah, that too.
It's like those. Like,
Well, look,
these
man,
are-
this is
these
gonna
are
go
bad.
on for a long time. I don't see a world in the near future where I don't have this podcast. Like it's something that I've wanted to do for a very, very long time, and now that I have this opportunity to sort of have casual conversations where we get super, super deep into everything that is everything. I think that, you know, one, the people need it, want it, and enjoy it, hopefully. And I hope that you guys did enjoy this episode number 5 with my man Austin Pamaj, Pamaj One. This video and audio is on YouTube as you guys are watching right now. So please subscribe. I'm trying to turn that. Oh, +1. We just got 1 out of that. So minus 36 today.
Let's go.
So if you can spare a subscription, please click it. It's for free. Just click subscribe. You'll be doing me a huge, huge favor. If you are listening on iTunes, on Google Podcast, on SoundCloud, soon we'll be doing Spotify or something else that
Nice.
people are asking. Stitcher
You're
or something.
You're gonna be on iTunes.
I'm already on iTunes.
Oh, my
we
man.
made it. Thank you to everybody for helping us get to the #1 spot. We're at number 3 right now in gaming on iTunes, which is like crazy after just like 4 episodes.
That's gnarly.
So I'm super, super psyched about that. And this is episode number 5, by the way, right?
Yeah.
That I've been saying? Anyway, doesn't really matter. Thank you. So subscribe on everything. If you're listening on iTunes, leave a like, leave a comment. Same for Google Podcast, same for SoundCloud. And more importantly, if you're on YouTube, leave the subscription. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what guest you guys want me to go see next. I have some pretty cool guests lined up in the near future. So thank you so much for listening. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you, Pamaj.